a chance of getting 100 flashcards in order? Well, it's 1 in 100 times 99 times 98 out on 0. It's 1 in 100 factorial, or the chance of 1 in a 10 to the 158th power, or 1 in a 1 followed by 158 zeros. Now, this could never happen, even that simple a thing, in the entire space-time universe. Any event with probabilities of less than 1 chance in 110 just won't occur. Somebody has estimated that there are 10 to the 80th particles in the universe. The oldest age I have heard for the age of the Earth, anybody ever guessed that, was 30 billion years. That would be 10 to the 18th second. I personally don't believe that because it hasn't been verified. Assuming each particle combined itself 1 trillion times a second, that would be 1 in a 10 to the 110th power. So if you have a probability less than 1 in 1/10 to the 110th, it just wouldn't occur in the universe. Now, what's the probability of life occurring by chance? The mathematical probability of atoms in a simple replicating proton has been estimated as 1 in 10 to the 450th power. The mathematical probability of a living cell existing by chance is 1 in a 10 to the 40,000th power. Let's break that down for the non-mathematicians. It's more likely for a tornado to pass through a junkyard to form a Boeing 747 than it is for the particles in a living cell to occur. It's more likely for billions of blind men, in fact, it's been calculated 10 to the 50th power blind men, to simultaneously solve Rubik's Cubes. That's more likely than life occurring by chance. I can't even solve it with my eyes open. Can you imagine even this group with our eyes open simultaneously solving it? Well, here we're talking about chance, not intelligent, but just blind men just rotating and all happen to come at the same time. The probability of life forming by chance, it's more likely for an explosion in a print shop to produce an unabridged dictionary than it is for life to occur by chance. Mathematical probabilities show beyond doubt that whenever you see any ordered complexity in nature, such as is found in living systems, you can be sure that that complexity was designed, not by chance probability. Okay, the debate subject today was the following. Evolution is not scientific. I showed that even by the definition. Evolution is not observable. It's not subject to experimentation. It's not repeatable. It's not verifiable. The second topic was evolution contradicts scientific laws. I showed that by the law of biogenesis. Life comes from other life. The law of kinds. Things bring forth after its kind. Sometimes that's called the fixity of species. And the third law that it contradicts is the second law of thermo, where systems left to themselves go to a condition of greater disorder. Randomness or statistical thermodynamics, a great condition of greater probability. The third thing that I showed you is evolution is not mathematically probable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Arlo Molimpa. Our next speaker is James Young. And for those that may have come late, let me restate the three-part subject that we're talking about today. And that's the theory of evolution is not scientific. The theory of evolution contradicts established scientific laws. And the theory of evolution is for all practical purposes not mathematically possible. And now we have James Young, who's going to speak for 30 minutes.
I was once a Pentecostal preacher. I did not believe in evolution. I believed in creationism. And I did not have a choice in that matter. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to recognize the danger to the Judeo-Islamic Christian faith inherent in the scientific theory of evolution. Evolution makes no provision for a supernatural creator. Science explains the origins of life without involving supernaturalism. Science has fired God. If public schools are allowed to teach evolution, the next generation will be a generation of free-thinking atheists. With that much at stake, Christian activists will not allow that to happen. As a Pentecostal preacher, I not only recognize that evolution removed God from creation, I also recognize that evolution removed sin. And without sin, we don't need a Savior. Not only that, but I recognized the threat to Christian teachings concerning humans having a spirit soul, one that lives forever. What facet of evolution facilitates that? Did we evolve a spirit soul when we were single-celled creatures, or later on when we were swinging from trees? It is very obvious to any objective observer that if evolution is ever accepted by the masses, as it is in the scientific community, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity will be well on their way to the scrap heap of history. And that is why I put bumper stickers like this on my car, because it is true, and we all agree that it is true. As a Pentecostal preacher, I recognized those threats. As a critical thinking atheist, I still recognize them. Let there be no mistake. If this threat to monotheism did not exist, creationists would have no interest whatsoever in assailing evolution. I understand all too well the religious necessity to assail evolution. I simply do not agree with the ethical issues involved in doing so. Creationist efforts have been very largely successful. Evolution is either not seriously taught in public schools or very little is said on the subject. As a result, public school students know very little, if anything, about it. Are you skeptical? Well, set up a testing program in any university, including this one, and test students on the subject. Overall, they'll fail miserably. Public opinion polls showed that most Americans with a high school diploma or less have little or no information about evolution other than what is trumpeted by creationists across America. Most of those Americans continue to believe in creationism. Some churches now promote a form of creationism called intelligent design. Apparently, they don't believe some of the arguments that have been stated here today about evolution. These churches have begun to accept evolution as the mechanism of creation, provided that God is included in the explanation as the intelligent designer. And that is their only problem with it. Of course, science does not need an intelligent designer to explain the origin of life and refuses to pollute the theory of evolution with religion. So the struggle continues. Some creationists recognize that intelligent design evolution is really not better than just plain old evolution. The problems I mentioned earlier of first sin, the fall of man, the need for salvation, and the existence of a spirit soul are not resolved at all. As absurd as biblical creationism may be, it alone offers the only real hope of a future for monotheism. Realistically, I don't think monotheism can destroy science. The days of burning scientists at the stake for heresy are long gone. Science is not going to go away.